Finally, let us actually go live. I'm going to figure out this new beta for YouTube. Gets a little bit goofy sometimes. Anyways, welcome everybody to another Pioneer video. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, giving us a thumbs up, and leaving a constructive comment down below. Today we'll be doing something a little bit off the norm of the channel. We'll be playing some Blue-White Control from Space Marine. One of the donors that was on our Patreon page that has briefly been put on hiatus till I figure out what we're going to do with it. This is a Blue-White Control list for the Pioneer format. It's trying out a bunch of new cards from Theros Beyond Death, primarily the form of Dream Trawler, Thassa's Intervention. I believe that's it for the main deck, and a couple copies of Shire the Sky as more 4-mana Wraths. Beyond that, you are your typical Blue-White Control list, other than we happen to be running some win cons. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, Hero to Peril Dream Trawler at the top end. Bunch of counter spells, things like Essence Scatter, Absorb, Syncopate, Thassa's Intervention could be basically a cancel or better, or look at cards and take some. Beyond that, you've got some cast outs and seal ways, deal with some creature problems. Cast out obviously can deal with planeswalkers. Glimmer of Genius is a little bit of card advantage and card selection as you're getting into the mid to late game. And beyond that, not a whole lot going on here. Some ops, 24 lands, one of each castle. Could probably see definitely more castles of each, but we'll see how this land base plays out. As far as the sideboard, we've got 2 copies of Damping Sphere, any type of ramp and Lotus Field decks. Rest in Peace comes in against any type of graveyard shenanigans, which are often the Lotus Field decks right now. Dovin's Veto when the gates are good. Narset for kind of the controlled mid-range games. Elspeth Sun's Nemesis when you need another win con / ability to kind of grind with some more win cons in the mid to late game. And then, as we mentioned before, Shatter the Sky as some more Wrath effects in the current format. That said, the format is a lot of mid-range right now. There's the big chunky red, there is 5-color Mizzet, there is mono black aggro decks, there's the Lotus Breach Field decks, which are kind of popping up. So lots of interesting things going on in the Pioneer format. A couple things of note today on a more personal level. I want to give a shout out to the Yoakum family. Today was the calling hours for their youngest son, who is the younger brother of my childhood friend John. My condolences to their family, and also condolences to the Bryant family, Kobe Bryant, and his daughter, his 13-year-old daughter, apparently passed away in a helicopter crash today, so kind of a somber heart for a lot of people today. And so I hope everybody, really understands that it's time to spend time with friends and family, because you never quite know when things won't be there. So, that said, this is going to be a control league, so let's hop into some matches. Hopefully Space Marine will pop in at some point if he's not at work. This is definitely a departure from the norm for the channel. Obviously on the channel we usually play a lot of aggressive decks, a few ramp decks here and there. But, this was the final donation list before I decided that basically I'm going to be streaming and playing whatever I want on the channel, so I do apologize to each and every person that tuned in for the 50 for 50 series that we had started, and some other stuff, but it's just not me. So, I'm going to do what I want to do, and hopefully it'll be more enjoyable for both myself and for all of you out there. But that said, let's do the oh my god, the control player learn to play win cons deck. So let's play. Hey, look, it's a control hand. We keep this one. On the play here is pretty nice. We get to Essence Scatter, their first major play. A lot of it depends obviously on what they're playing. Like if they're a Breach combo deck or something, the sand isn't particularly good, but in general, this format's a lot of creature playing and stuff, so Essence Scatter should be pretty reasonable. Mono black, it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. 'Cause I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. Sure. Get the pretty good draw for them. Take the Essence Scatter, which means they've got our bones, eh? Alright, Seal Away is pretty nice. Which one of these do I want to seal away more? I guess we just do this now while they're tap low. Get rid of the Bloodsoak Champion. That's the one that takes the least mana for them to get back. Should we happen to find a copy of Supreme Verdict. Murderous Rider go. Vessels Intervention is kind of a nice one here. I think I'm willing to just take the hit here. Go to 12. Just let Night resolve. Cast Glimmer. Kind of hope we hit a Wrath here. So, Ops, Supreme Verdict, Cast Verdict. This building only if your opponent lost life this turn. So the game's basically over then. I think we're going to take the opportunity to syncopate this puppy. That's one we don't want coming back. So Thassa's intervention here is pretty rapidly becoming dig through time. 1, 2. Particularly care about Bloodsoaked. Hey, there's a Teferi and there's a Dream Thrower. And for right now, we just deploy a Teferi. We'll take this hit. Sure. Tuck that away. That's because it is your Space Marine. Imagine that. First game. Absolutely nothing. You missed a prototypical control versus aggro game 1. What tools they have post board? Usually bringing in duresses. It's flash. So basically, potentially some self-inflicted wounds and some more duress effects. So sounds double, you say? Shouldn't be. That's annoying. There, is that better? Had someone complaining about the onboard microphone. Alright, anyways, let's bring in the Elspeth, bring in the Shatters. Go down on Intervention and copy of Absorb. Sounds the same. Fortunately, I don't know. Still kind of annoying that it's doing that. Seems fine. I don't like having a Dream Trawler in our opening hand, but at the same time, see what our opponent takes here. Was it doing that the other day when I was doing the Rakdos thing? Actually, I wonder. Is that better? Probably unlikely that they have whatchamacallit in their deck right now. Not showing it's froze on my end, so I don't know. This could just be one big screwball of a string then. For an untapped land. I think that was a waste of a murderous rider, my friend. Probably have to take the trawler here, right? Guess they could have like, nope, okie dokie. Yeah, maybe. The problem with playing trawler there is if they have an answer to it, we're just dead. Whereas with Elspeth, at least we had the chance of. Yeah, we're just dead. So probably should have just jammed trawler, but that. Uh, okay, not gonna argue. Elspeth requires 4 cards to escape. Oh, you meant to. Yeah, but the problem is if they fog us once, we're dead. So wasn't a matter of keeping Dream Trawler alive, it was a matter of us staying alive. Sounds fine. Can't really get too attached to any hand against them because they have like a billion discard spells. Yeah, that's a good card if it can hit land drops. Yes, I get it. You have a discard spell every game. Wrinkle's annoying here. Thanks, Ken. Smith requires 6, right? Yep. We're just dead. Essence Scatter what? There was no spells cast. Both Raid and Scrap Heap are bring back abilities. They're not spells that can be countered. And if I held on to Teferi, it just dies to Munivolt after tucking Rankle. So I was playing the Dream Trawler trying to draw a 6 land, and we just didn't do it. And we can't bring back Elspeth, so we're just dead. Because they have 8 power on board plus Munivolt. Well, to be fair, Mono Black is one of the most resilient to removal decks in the format. It's got Scrappy, it's got Bloodsoak Champion, it's got Gutter Bones. It's basically a control player's worst nightmare in terms of just resilient threats. And then you tack on 8 or 10 discard spells post board, and it just gets hard. It's not an easy matchup. All right. Hand seems good. Keep. I tossed away game 2, yes, potentially. Like, it's likely you're. Yeah, and if they have 8 discard spells, they can deal with that, my friend. What's up, Space Predator? How are you? So why no attacks? Alright, so they're playing around Seal Away? Guess we keep Teferi there. Curious Obsession. So I'm gonna get Spell Quellered, but I'm kind of okay, or I'm not. Cool. Oh, Rattle Chains, sure. I rent. I rent from Mana Traders. It's the only way I'm able to get through so many decks. So I just trade Verdict here, right? It only gets Rattle Chains, but at least it gets the stupid. Yeah, your best bet's just to run, just to rent and see which decks you like first off, and then go from there. Oh, spirits. So, this spirit. Problem is, with Rattle Chains in play, they can just play whatever they darn well please. Curious Obsessions, Empyrean Eagles. Spirits as though they had Flash. Let's just play this tapped and pass then. We'll see. It's possible. Depends on what they do here. If we have Nimblegeist Heroes here, we could be in some trouble. That was dumb. I should have discarded there. I needed to discard there, then that Brazen Burrower wouldn't have been any good. As it is, we're just going to be dead if they have another one. Alright, sure, whatever. So 4, 7. Good block here. Go to 1. So do I Glimmer and hope to hit Supreme Verdict, or do I hit Teferi and tuck something? Well, there's some consideration if they had. All right, let's see what we can do here. Okay, that's a pretty good one. Still think we sit back here. There's a good chance as long as I don't make another punt. Do I attack then? I think we sit back for now. Annoying. Okay. Say I attack. I was at. What was I at before this turn? So. The results were the same. I'd be dead. Because I gained 4 life, prevented 3 damage. 7 life game swing we just would have had. I still would have died. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Same result. And we basically have nothing in our sideboard for this matchup. I guess 2 shatter this guy is technically. But as we've already established, wraths aren't great against. No, it was the same. The longer that game goes, the better off we are. We have the card draw engine, we have the counter spells. The longer that game goes, the better we are. Yeah, cities, I'm trying to cut it back, but it doesn't matter which microphone I'm using, it just echoes. Is that better at all? Still trying to figure out what's causing that echo. Okay, so we survive at 1, presuming nothing else changes there. Is it still not going so badly? Thanks, Predator. That's awesome. All right. Do we jam Terfluffle here? I don't think so. They're repping Negate really hard. Some number of mystical disputes in these decks, so really need another bait spell for this, whatever it is. What, you think we should try to stick Dream Trawler? Sticking to Fairy does no good because they just kill it on board. Like, obviously they're repping some counterspell, I'm just not sure which one. We could have Disdainful Stroke too, all of which are just like terrible for us. So I think I just continue to play the waiting game now that we've drawn Cast Out. I don't think I jam Trawler right now. I really want them to tap low on mana. Ardenvale's nice, but is it really what we're looking for here? Or do we just go top? Um, Spirits should be pretty good. Okay, so we got a mystical dispute out of their hand. That's at least nice. At this point, we just scry, and I think it's better positioned in the format. Gust Herald. Sure. Problem is that they have petty theft. One, two, three, four, five. One, two, three, four. Actually, we can play around mystical dispute at this point. So, what am I even thinking about? Just realized your mystical dispute's not going to work, didn't you? Of course, we have a whatchamacallit here. What do we even pitch? Okay, and what good does verdicting do? We kill a selfless spirit. Verdict wasn't good in that spot. We killed a selfless spirit. That's it. Yes, Space Marine, we're dead. But that is what the Spirit's deck does. Verdict is not useful in that situation. Verdict kills our trawler and their selfless spirit. Teferi was the only card that helps us get out of that situation besides trawler. Well, to be fair, I did punt. I did have that slight punt with the Besides, what are you saying I get a free pass? This league was like completely on my dime. So I'm trying to win. This is a rough format to be playing control in. No blue sources. This is just a mulligan. One land. This is a mulligan. All right. So this hand's a keep. So I think we get rid of island. I think we get rid of a land here. And one of the spells. So it's got to be island. Is it syncopate or verdict? We are on the play. So I guess it could be glimmer and hope to rip another big game spell later. Like I think it's between syncopate and glimmer. I think we have to gamble that on 5 that verdict's good. So I think I'm just going to bottom the glimmer and hope we rip. So I'm on a block again. Sure. I suppose not. But back to your question, Space Predator, if you're looking to get into Pioneer, I would choose one of the aggro decks or one of the like it depends on how much you want to get into the format. I would choose like spirits or black aggro or mono red aggro or one of those decks. Or if you happen to like control, blue white will probably be good for a while. I don't personally like control decks, so would not be my choice. Scoop, this is too painful. Esper is not good in the format. Blue white's just better. You were talking about for Pioneer, right, Space Predator? Do I counter that, or do I just hope to get a little bit lucky with a land? I gotta counter that. This is so tough because like this card alone could win the game, so I think I can't bank on. Yeah, spirits is pretty good. Hey, you're welcome. All right. Herborg being in play makes it a little bit obnoxious sometimes. They just pump here, or they have other things to do with their mana? I mean, don't get me wrong, Pioneer's a lot of fun. Did I just verdict this thing? Feels really bad. Hope to get a little bit more value out of my Wrath. least we have Absorb if they have any non-creature spells, like Thoughtseize, perhaps. Yeah, that one's going to warrant a counterspell. These one-for-one things are just so annoying. I would know a lot of people that would beg to differ that Modern's better, my man. Depends on what you like in your format. If you like mid-range and aggressive decks, then, well, your best bet then is to find a deck that is reasonable in both formats. What is their hand? Oh, just more threats. Sure. I'm gonna top Ardenvale. Wow. So remember that part Space Marine where you told me to concede? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Sure. They're gonna rankle us, which is annoying. Each player discards a card. Sure. Their hand's probably a bunch of removal spells. I think Lingering Souls could potentially be too powerful for the format. Maybe we just wait till combat. That way they don't. Well, Space Marine likes to be our resident little smart aleck, and I don't often get one over on him, but when I do, sometimes it's very nice. Well, one might say you are going to be trawling me for that for one for a while, huh? So it's likely their hand has Murderous Rider in it. So I think we just play Teferi and tick up. I guess Murderous Rider is one card that they would have that would make sense. Yeah, it was definitely a card that makes sense that they had. To be fair, Chief, if it isn't, in his case, if it isn't modern and it isn't, or a modern or legacy, or if it isn't blue white control, he doesn't like it, so just gotta hope to dodge for one turn. But I'm still dumbfounded, Space Marine, how you became a regular whenever you hate aggro decks. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Alright, so unfortunately they're going to get Bloodsoak Champion back. And we're really low on sweepers, so we might still lose this game anyway. See? This is not a spell, Space Marine. I cannot counter it. Just Primeval Hellfire deck. That one must have been bad, because even I don't remember that one. Alright, well, let's hope the Trollicking is good enough here. So there isn't too much in their main deck that can interact with this. I don't have problems playing people's decks. I just... Wow. They're running cast down, so we lose because I auto-passed. Nice. I think we were going to be in trouble anyway because they hit us to one here. Yep. Fair enough. Let this be a lesson, kiddos. Don't auto-pass when you have Dream Trawler. Green Elspeth, bring in Shatter the Sky. Loss of Intervention's a little bit slow. Absorb's a little bit slow. They have billions and billions of counterspells served. Not counterspells, discard spells. So I think our counterspells are just worse. Like that. I don't think I tossed that game. I think we were losing that game regardless. Because they'd been holding on to a bunch of cards in their hand, which leads me to believe they had Fatal Push. And if they had Fatal Push, we were dead anyway. Guess Syncopate could potentially have saved it, but there's a pretty good chance we were dead there anyway. Yes, but 3-mana counter spells against a deck with a bunch of 1-drops and 1-drop discard spells, not particularly good. I'm keeping in Syncopate because they can exile their relevant spells. Can I even keep this hand? I guess they're a discard spell deck, so it really doesn't matter what we keep, because half of our hands get ripped apart anyway. Who's delusional? Hmm. Thoughtseize is a mildly necessary evil because there are combo decks that do exist that get a lot harder to beat. And keeping in mind, this deck already ate a ban in the form of Smuggler's Copter. I'm just supposed to. Am I supposed to opt here or am I supposed to counter this? Problem is, I need both land and wrath if I don't counter this. Pretty decent chance this is the bait spell, but it's a good enough spell to warrant a counter spell. Pack rat. Nope, just another knight. Alright. Well, yeah, I know that. I just wasn't sure if they had something like Pack Rat or something that could punish us. Rankle will be unfortunate here. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what we do with Teferi is the thing. No, because I don't think we're going to have enough time to do both Glimmers. So I can Glimmer here. Hoped to. Yeah, I'm just debating. Like, what do we do with him, though, is the question mark. Like, no matter what we do, he's dead. Do we draw a card or do we tuck Rankle? Really need to hit a verdict. An even verdict isn't particularly good. Well, 0 for 2 against mono black control. If what sticks? Because we're dead on board and it doesn't matter. They have enough abilities to force it to get tapped that we lose. They show us Cast Down Game 1, and then their deck packs 4 copies of Murderous Rider. Okay, we were at 8 life. They had a Mutavault. They had a... Yes, they had a Mutavault. They had Knight of the Ebon Legion, which is 2 power. They had a Scrap Heap Scrounger, which was 3 power. So that is 7 power. They have 5 lands in play, which means they can tap 3 lands to activate Knight of the Ebon Legion's +3/+3 ability. So we were taking 10 damage and we were dead. Yes, it taps to get hexproof. It's the same effect they have on the Sphinx that this is based off of. I really wish you'd read cards before you send me the lists, man. I think we keep this hand. It's a little bit risky, but I think reasonable enough. Mirror match, really? Could also be another spirits list. Nope, it's the mirror. First person to miss land drop dies, and we're the first person to miss land drop. It's annoying that they get a life out of this, but the rest of the stuff doesn't matter, so. We just kind of fast as intervention and pray here. Space Marine, how many control matchups have you played? And obviously, you forget the rule number one of control matchups. He who misses their land drop generally dies. And the fact that your build is built the way it is means basically you're disadvantaged in the control mirrors. Yeah. And if you're missing land drops, you usually have to be the first one to commit. Okay. First off, we don't know he's playing 3 Fairy. Second off, they have Castle of Ardenvale in play. We aren't beating Castle and Ardenvale over a long game. We're missing land drops. Whatever, man. And what would you like me to do? Space Marine, we have to run them out of counters at some point. Otherwise, we're losing the game. We're behind on land drops. They have Castle Ardenvale in play. We're about to miss a land drop and have to discard the hand size. So yeah, I can discard a Supreme Verdict or a Steal Away or whatever. But in the end, our only hope is that they don't have a counterspell there, and we survive. With them ahead on mana, they're able to leverage their counterspells better. With them having Castle Ardenvale in play, us playing the no spells game favors them. I'm not going to sit there and bash my head against the wall when I'm clearly behind in the control mirror. We have a couple of Supreme Verdicts in for any type of Lyra, Dream Troll, or anything they've got going on themselves. Ward out the Essence Scatters because they're only going to have a couple of creatures and not worth fighting over when we have Syncopate, Thassa's Intervention, and Absorb to fight over them. I agree tapping out their 4/5 Fairy is not great. I'm not arguing that point. No white mana. I think this is a mulligan. I mean, if we hit a white mana, we're fine, but we miss land drops, and this hand's a lot better. Put back. No vetoes here. No, I understand what you're saying and how you think. I'm just simply saying, looking at the game how it is, we're behind. We're missing land drops. They have more land drops. They have land in play that does more things. We're losing that game. Sure, could we play another 10 turns and maybe I'll stick a Teferi or something and we're good? Maybe. I wouldn't count on it. And I'm also behind on clock, so I have to try to leverage these games a little bit better in the +4 games. Thanks, Ken. I appreciate that. Stop losing. Oh, man. I swear they always have the stupid Field of Ruin as soon as I play the land that kind of matters, right? Oh, it's easy, just win. Thanks, Ken. Thanks. I don't think we fight over the Thassa's Intervention here. Like, in some ways, them having Mistwell Dispute is better for them, because it means something like Dream Trawler isn't great, but us having Dovin's Veto means if we don't want something, all I do is win, 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 no matter what, and they stay there. Except it's blue-eye control, and we all know I suck at blue-eye control. Is everyone else ready to die of boredom? I know I am. I mean, we could take a poll. How many turns does my control opponent take to kill me? Hmm. Digging for a supreme verdict. I, I think my song with this deck should be all I do is lose, 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 lose with blue white, and I die there. For those of you in attendance that wonder why I don't play blue-white control, this is why. Can we back it up now? I'll have planar cleansing. I think we're dead. We're dead, Jim. Stop beating him. Stop beating him, Jim. We're already dead. Oh, Narset. That'll resolve. Oh, okay. Sorry you feel that way. Oh, man. Yeah, we even had the Supreme Verdict. Hey, we hit the Supreme Verdict. You never know. Maybe we get back into this game. Um, hmm. Huge shout out for all y'all that are sticking through this like troopers. Y'all make me feel great even when I play stuff that I just want to go. Is it still echoing so badly? Like one, in all seriousness, I think the takeaway from this league so far is just there's been a couple people. Who was it that I usually watch? Is it Avaros? Um, I want to say it's Avaros. Plays a lot of Pioneer, and he was playing Blue White Control for a while. And even he's kind of shied away from Blue White Control, just saying it's not particularly good right now. And with a surge of both spirits and black mono black aggro, I can certainly see how that's the case, because both those decks seem fairly well positioned against what Blue White's trying to do. Have we scared off Space Marine? He's been awful quiet for a while. Makes me think we scared off Space Marine. That seems reasonable. Okay, have me intrigued. I am interested. Obviously, it's a red aggro deck. I can see that much. I can see clearly now they smack the face. I think I'll just play Seal Away. Dread Horde Arcanist. Alright. So. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, one has a Swizzle Spear. Yeah, that's a thing. Like, I don't even know that I particularly care about this right now. Just let the damage connect. Plan on cycling here. Come on, give me a white land drop. So we'll just seal the sky away. Pass turn. So I'm curious what the black mana is for. Because otherwise, this just looks like a prowess deck so far. Yep. Thanks, Ken. Yeah, I would never have figured that one on my own. I was trying to cast that. Well, let's see what they got. As we're pretty much dead here now. I think even if I had cast out that Swiss beer, I think we were just dead anyway. But, maybe they don't have anything else. Maybe we don't die. Okay, so they're just definitely a prowess deck with some other stuff going on. I mean, make them pay it, I guess. All right. So we definitely won't shatter this guy. Do we want Elspeth? I know Elspeth's a good card, but against what they're doing in particular, I don't think she's very good. Got a syncopate and intervention, maybe. Just to bring in the other board sweepers. This is another one of those hands that, like, really needs to hit land drops, but I think we keep it. Maybe we'll get lucky and they won't have a creature on one, and then we just don't die. Okay, another creature on one. That's good at least. Now we can syncopate or opt. Okay, yeah, don't care about Wild Slash to the face. Are you missing land drops, friend? Looks like I likewise am missing land drops. Okay, sometimes you gotta get the pity wins wherever you can, right? Do I keep the 6-land seal away hand? think so. Yep. Yep. Essence Scatter that probably won't mean anything here. They're foolish enough to play something free combat. Yep. Two lands. All right. I suppose I deserve that. Since they can't flash back any other spells. Alright, Shatter at least gives us some outs here. One's got one card in hand and 2 damage on board. Ew. Yep. It walked right into my trap card. Guess we hold on to Seal Away in case they have something retarded like Rankle. Castle Ardenvale, closing game since 2019. Yep. Again, no reason to remove the Dreadhorde Arcanist yet. There's nothing that can flash back. Okay, maybe there is. It's another lightning strike or something here, and we're dead. But we got creatures covered at least. Yep, can't do anything about that. Hazaret. Alright. So, huge shout out to Space Marine and Ken for their support in this stream, as well as Space Predator. As far as this list goes, I really don't think we can take too many takeaways other than I punt a lot in control matchups. I think there are some positives and some negatives for all the different builds of control. We took a look at the ones that have actually been doing well lately. So, like, these kind of lists. Not a whole lot in the creature department, obviously. You got a mix of spells. See if anything's like come up with controllers yet. Like people using Torrentials, Girahawks, Thassa's Intervention, Dig Through Time. I think a couple takeaways is these castles really kind of overperform in these kind of mid-range games. Field Rune was kind of key in our blue-white opponent beating us. Not going to lie there. Little Teferi makes the control matchups a lot easier, etc., etc. I don't really know what to think of Space Marines list specifically outside of we ran into some tough matchups. I punted a few games, and there's some utility in playing a smattering of different things. Space Marines list, as we saw here, was very, very specific on certain cards, And I think having a split on like Dovin's Veto, Mystical Dispute, maybe Crawler on the side, Dream Trawler on the sideboard, 3 Fairy in the main deck. Just different little things. Having more castles in the mana base. Maybe a little bit less on the counter spells. Really kind of hard to say what's right and what's wrong against the specific matchups we played against. So that said, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who sat through the stream, and I'm going to go take a look at my mic situation to see maybe why it's echoing. Thanks everyone for tuning in today. For everyone who's catching this video later, this will probably be the last control deck we'll be playing on the channel for a little while. Just not my cup of tea, and I'm going to be playing decks that are more suited to what I do best, which is aggro and ramp, but I will visit control decks from time to time, especially ones that pique my interest. So this has been John for MTG Nexus. Everybody has a great day.